What's going on? Social media. So it's episode 59, Bottoms Up Perspective, and we got all our co-founders on the show tonight, and we're just gonna chat. We're gonna just talk tonight, and then also, hey, we sent out some links tonight, and hey, if anyone wants to hop on our show as a guest, even if you comment tonight in the comments, if you comment that you want to be part of the show and just hop on, I'll send you the link. So on the fly, and we can have up to 10 people. So right now we still have 6, availability for 6 more. So instead of just being a fewer, feel free to join us. So we can have a little fun tonight. So we're just gonna talk about some random topics of reflection. So let's talk. So we started Bottoms Up Perspective on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn Live. So love to hear your perspective as co-founders of Bottoms Up Perspective. What are your thoughts on LinkedIn today?
Oh, today.
What has your experience been for 2020, beginning of 2021? You like it? Are you still active? Are you moving on? I'd love to hear your perspective on LinkedIn and its direction.
I think I'm still a little bit active where retail stuff is concerned, because I think it's still not in a good state. And I think what I set out to do to share more information about what's happening in retail, maybe more from an Asia Pacific perspective. Still doing that a little bit here and there, sporadically. But I thought that this year was going to be the year of Clubhouse invites, right? But I don't think that happened. And maybe that's why I actively did not, get into Clubhouse. Well, I didn't have time as well, so that's the excuse. And I don't think it took off. So I think LinkedIn is still pretty much the same place it was. There were new features like stories and all, but I didn't use that as well. So I'm still sticking to good old regular LinkedIn as it was pre-pandemic. I think that's pretty much sums up my usage of LinkedIn so far.
Okay, awesome.
I'm gonna let Aldrich go after Jeremy because we're matching tonight, and so I'm really excited about that. And so Aldrich gets to go first. That's right.
I don't spend that much time on LinkedIn as compared to the early part of 2020. I think it has to do with the user experience. My user experience since this year hasn't been that pleasant. Over my account, it seems like it has been heavily visited by chatbots. So I don't really enjoy that. I still try to find opportunities from the platform. It's just that it's dry. It's not that how should I say this? I can find a volume of opportunities elsewhere compared to the same amount of time invested on LinkedIn. So for me, the way I think about LinkedIn today is really just to spread the kind of writing that I've been doing on social publishing platforms, and then I'll use that to build my profile. It's not a pivot. It's not a way of showcasing thought leadership or things like that, but really it's just, to me, I see that as one digital ecosystem. It's nothing to do with LinkedIn per se. I'm been trying to figure out how to build one ecosystem. So LinkedIn, Medium, Bottoms Up Perspective, and then we have our own website. And then just now I was working on our podcast settings. So I'm thinking like how we can push one ecosystem out. That's what I'm thinking about. So I'm not really thinking about LinkedIn per se. It doesn't excite me. Not in that way.
Just because of the chatbots, or just because of the chatbots, or it's just that there are more.
I'm interested in the ecosystem. I'm not interested in one platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah, I think since we're talking about LinkedIn in general, I think all of us have our different feelings toward different social platforms and mediums and the way that we can express ourselves. and write things. And I love the interactions on LinkedIn because for me, it's just the type of people that are here and the type of content that people put out. I learn a lot. I get to share, you know, thoughts that are going through my head or things that I'm learning personally in my life that maybe can help someone else. For me, it's just, I've been on Facebook for so long, and I still think that Facebook has a place. It's relevant. But it's such a different audience and such a different feel. I really love the professionalism overall of LinkedIn. I do not like the LinkedIn stories. That has not been a good experience. For me, and someone working for LinkedIn asked that question, and I just said, that's so Facebook. I mean, it's just, I think it's almost like they're copying what has worked elsewhere. But LinkedIn just has a different feel to it. And somehow that, to me, it doesn't go together. It doesn't fit quite right. People try, some people maybe really like it. I really don't. I've tried to post. So I like posting like personal stuff on stories, like with my kids. And I don't like to do that on LinkedIn. So by the time you get done posting Facebook story, sharing your personal on Instagram story, and then you got LinkedIn story, and you're like, oh, I can't share that picture because I don't want people to see, my children's faces or something. So, but yeah, I love it. I love the communities that I've come across. It honestly, for me, comes down to just the people and the tone of LinkedIn. I've met so many amazing people, including you guys, Aldrich and Jeremy and Jacqueline, and the list can go on and on and on and on. So yeah, I hold LinkedIn actually quite dear at this point.
Yeah, so I guess for me, I've been a LinkedIn person for a very long time. So since 2004. So it's just like anything else, it has its ups and downs. But that's one platform I've seen where it has grown. There's so much functionalities within LinkedIn if you adapt to the whole platform, from Navigator to prospecting to even CRM features when you pay for premium. And LinkedIn isn't paying me to say this, right? There are, CRMs are expensive if you have a business. And if you have an entire sales team and they learn how to prospect on LinkedIn, technically you can, tie it all to Soho and different things like that and create a very dynamic solution for selling, But at the same time, I think Microsoft, when they bought LinkedIn, they've done some good and made it more software oriented. But I agree with Aldrich too. LinkedIn isn't the be all of social media. There's a lot of platforms out there, and you just have to find the platform that works for you. Like for me, I'm not a very funny person, and when I'm funny, maybe I'm not trying. But TikTok doesn't work for me because I really don't have much of a TikTok personality. So, and then Instagram, I don't have the body anymore for it. So I can't do much on Instagram. And
I'm good at editing, honey, if you need help.
And then for Facebook, right, it's great. I keep it private. It's for family and friends and people I care about. That way grandparents can see my kids' pictures. But then I have my business, right? My business, we're on all the platforms. Haven't figured out TikTok still because I don't feel
same.
That's where our target audience is for my business, right? Doesn't mean it's not for your business. But overall, LinkedIn has been good to me. Met a lot of great people, opened up a lot of doors, opportunities over the years. Everything from career to just friends and business opportunities. I do like the content that's on LinkedIn. I find a lot of value. Not just, if you're here for monetary reasons, LinkedIn might not be for you. Any social media might not be for you, right? Because I always tell people, if you're looking to make money, it requires more than just posting content, more than just engaging. It still requires, hey, are you good at business development? Can you talk to people? Or you bring some sort of value? Or do you have a solution that someone needs, right? Are you solving someone's problem? You have to have a combination of everything in order for LinkedIn or any social media to help you make money.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's a great social platform. It's for relationships, right? So, and that's what I like to use it for, is to meet people outside of my local community, connect, and be able to kind of share my heart, my knowledge. But that's how I utilize LinkedIn. When I'm busy, I'm not as active. I'm like Eldrick. My time is valuable. So I got to prioritize, hey, my wife, my kids, whatever, right? And guess what? Social media can take a back burner and, you can put it on pause, I know some people make it religious where I have to be active on social media. And even I have clients, right? I ask them, why? And the funny thing is they have like maybe 200 followers. And to me, it's like, who are you talking to? Out of those 200, maybe there's only 10 people, So have fun with it. Social media, you got to have a little fun with it. And you got to find your own way. So that's my, 5 cents about social media.
I guess it depends on the application, right? Like you mentioned, Kevin, if you are using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right, that is really good tool for prospecting. And yes, I'm not sponsored by Microsoft or LinkedIn to say that, but it really is a good prospecting tool, because only because that people who put their profile on LinkedIn are just going to be accurate, right? They're not going to put something, okay, there's still going to be something bogus, but they'll beef up their profile, right? To show how smart they are, or et cetera, et cetera. But it's likely that people are going to be honest about what they put up there. It's going to be accurate and it's going to be updated for most parts. And if you use that kind of information to do sort of a prospecting, you're going to get accurate information, or you're going to be able to scope and prospect the type of people you want accurately, right? So that's I think that's one aspect, the commercial aspect of LinkedIn that really, I think, was really good. And if you mention things like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, it really depends on what you're trying to do, right? Like for me, Facebook is my friends zone. So that's where I go a little bit more less professional. I share certain crazy thoughts, maybe share some funny jokes, things like that. I don't see it as a showcase of, professional knowledge or expertise or anything like that. It's just where I can be me, and the audience is really, people who know me, so they can bear with my quirks and weirdness. In some ways, certain things I think. I don't have to be so worried about how people will see. Yeah,
we
right.
Love
so
it.
it's.
Yes, we want to see it on LinkedIn too, Jeremy. We all want to see it.
No.
Yes,
we have to. That's the edgy stuff. No. I try to be two-faced about it. So and so that's my Facebook. If it comes down to Instagram, I have an account only because the other time I was asked to do a live through Instagram. So, and that's it. I live it there. I have nothing else there on Instagram. But maybe one day if I decide to sell, I don't know, food or what, t-shirts or what, maybe I'll use that account for that reason, just to promote visual stuff, right? Visual stuff, things I might be selling, right? So I think I'm gonna put that aside for now until I figure out what I'm gonna do with it. But apart from that, right now it's just stalking my friends who are on Instagram and see what they post. And TikTok, okay, I don't know. TikTok is another big question mark. I don't think anyone wants to see a 40-plus-year-old try to lip sync or try to dance or whatever. So no, I'm not gonna go there.
Oh, I think that'll be really popular. I think a lot of people would love to see 40-year-olds dance and sing.
Nah.
So.
and look
Hey,
uncomfortable.
You would be surprised. Okay, who's that guy that I don't know if it was on TikTok, but he became famous for drinking cranberry juice while riding in the back of a pickup. And then all of
Yeah,
a
but-
sudden he's endorsed
Yeah.
by all these different companies, and it's like,
No, that doesn't happen to everyone, and I don't have that kind of unique kind of look. He looks edgy, and he looks slightly different. I'm just a common face, common Asian face. And I'm not gonna get a kind of endorsement just by drinking whatever I drink, right?
I don't know that edgy is the look that he has. Yes, unique. Yes.
Unique, yes, unique, special. I don't look unique in any way. No way. So I'm not gonna get that kind of endorsement. It's not gonna get viral.
So, what's one takeaway after we're up to 49 episodes? What
Ooh.
have you learned about going live?
It gets easier.
It gets easier.
It gets easier. The first time you're just like, oh no, what am I gonna say? Oh no, the whole world's watching, and after I don't know 5-6 episodes, yeah, whatever, I don't care. It gets easier. As with most things, you start to not regard the pressure as much because it's all self-imposed, right? So you just go in and speak your mind. I guess the format of a show helps because I can be myself and you just speak our mind freely, and sometimes we have a little bit of engagement and discussion or argument, which is also fine because at the end of the day we are clear why we're doing this, and therefore we give room for ourselves for that kind of interaction. So have always been happy with this. Yeah, despite not knowing what I'm getting myself into, 59 episodes and counting. So
That's awesome.
I think the coolest thing in the world is perspectives, is the word perspective, because every single person has their own.
Thank you,
I love
Kenneth.
what Kenneth said there, man.
Really fun.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Wow, I don't even think I could compliment somebody that well.
Best compliment I've got so far.
That's
59 episodes in.
Amazingly handsome, gorgeous, and scrumptious compliment.
Intelligent is the nice word. Yeah, the rest I don't care.
Just because of that, Kenneth, I think Jeremy might start a TikTok.
No, then I will not look intelligent anymore.
Ooh. Oh man, you guys funny.
So,
What do you? Go ahead, Alder.
Jeremy, you are very willing to endorse LinkedIn, but when I want you to talk about Zoom, you are totally against it. What's the difference?
Wait. When we talk about Zoom, talk on Zoom.
Yeah, talk about how to be conversant in a virtual conference using Zoom. What's the settings that are good about it? So, what's the difference? They're both platforms, right?
Zoom is more what you call that. I'm not that good at Zoom, to be honest. Because the platform that my company uses is Teams, and I've used that for doing what you call that in internal meetings, and mostly internal meetings, but also have done sort of like an internal event over Teams. So I'm more comfortable with Teams. Zoom, to be honest, I don't even know how to set the virtual background in Zoom. I don't know how to do that. Maybe it's because sometimes I use it on the phone, sometimes I use it on the computer. So I have not figured out. Sometimes I use it just the link and then it goes to the browser. So I get it through the browser. And sometimes I use it on an iPad. So I have not exactly been committed to Zoom. So as a platform, Zoom, I'm not that comfortable. Teams, yes, I'm more comfortable. And the thing is that the past 1-2 years, right, Teams have been adding a bunch of different feature functions and changes. So it's sometimes a little bit hard to keep pace with that as well. So as a platform, Zoom, no, I'm not so comfortable. Even StreamYard, right? What we're using now. I think Kevin's the one who has mastered it. For me, I just appear. So I kind of also can't talk about it.
He pushes a link.
Press the link. Yay!
Signs, smiles, and that's it.
So
That's
Kevin does
right.
all the hard work, right? For the audience, in case you guys don't know, Kevin does all the hard work, right? And then I just appear, yeah.
And by the way, I think we should not end there.
Uh-huh.
We should not end there because we are not just about the live stream.
We are not.
And
very soon.
and I do think that we are at the point where we have gotten to we have a lot of things that we are charting out. There's a lot of things that we are doing to advance our cause, and that goes way beyond where we started.
Yeah.
We started on LinkedIn. That's for sure. That's real. But we are now in the next chapter of our evolution. And we should not deny ourselves that. In fact, if we are talking about the reflection of our journey, it is not always about our heritage, so to speak, or how we come into being. It's also about how we want to take ourselves forward. We have spoken a lot about how we met each other on LinkedIn, how we use LinkedIn, and we reflect about LinkedIn. And I do think that we have paid enough pilgrimage to them.
Pay your dues.
I like that.
Enough. I not to say that I don't appreciate it. I'm just trying to say that as we move on to the next chapter of our group, we have to start focusing our efforts on the work that we have done. And it's not just about LinkedIn, neither is it completely and entirely about the live stream. So we have put in a lot of work to engage with everyone in our community. That's one thing. We have also tried to, we have also have a website that we are trying to bring to life while trying to have over-the-top content. So content contributors can put their work with us and monetize it along the way, right? And before we come into the live stream, I was actually trying to set up the monetization efforts on our podcast. So I think there's a lot that we can talk about, and it goes beyond where we started. That's my point. And I think with that, we actually have a lot more chapters to go in the Bottoms Up Perspective book. That's what I think. And I'm looking forward to the future. I do. That's my reflection.
So what you mean? You mean what? The past 59 episodes, and we just started.
If
that was phase one.
That was introduction.
If I were to be
that
pointed,
was the trailer.
If I were to be pointed, I think this is something that we have to think about, right? I mean, it's a fact. We have done very good stuff in our live streaming. We have a lot of content, I think. And in fact, when I was trying to create YouTube shorts, I thought about creating a tapestry of shorts across various episodes to put on YouTube, because that's where we can curate points of value and put it into one video that is way shorter than an hour, so that our audience, our communities, and our subscribers can benefit. I think we are at that point. We should look beyond phase one.
Travis said the pilot season passed.
Oh, I forgot about it already, Travis. I'm already at the next level.
Season 1.
But my point is, we have come a long way, and we are not just about the live stream. That's my point. It's not. I'm not negating what we are doing here. We are doing a great job. I'm just saying that it is not the only thing that we are doing. So Jeremy, you think about it.
No, this is great. So Eldrick brought a good point. So if we're talking about live streaming, right? A lot of people they see live stream as just a show, right? But it's so much more than a show, right? Live stream is a tool within many arsenals, and it's very low cost entry. Sometimes you can even do it for free, right? And I think a lot of people, if you're looking to create content in an easy way without spending a bunch of money on video gear, editor, videographer, or even taking the time to load it or different things, think about doing live streaming. Eldrick brought a good point. Once you live stream, that content is evergreen. It's sitting there. You can send it to YouTube and send it to YouTube Live, and you're just collecting a library of content. Take that content, you can edit it within YouTube Editor, or you can even take it to some free editor. That there's all these tools out there, these apps. And then you can clip these short videos, boom, distribute it all over social media, and you have yourself content. I think a lot of times people overthink it, and if you don't have money, you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a fortune on marketing, it's a great way to market yourself. You can have guests on the show. It's a great way to build relationships, right? But when it comes to bottoms up, okay, this group, we're so much more than just these episodes and this show. And I agree with Eldrick. We've created this friendship, this ecosystem of connections, just like people like Kenneth, Travis, people that hop on our show, Jacqueline. We've created a lot of friendships, and our goal is to also establish community, be able to connect with people and create opportunity, not just for ourselves, but others as well. Because at the end of the day, I mean, look at the world, look at the news. We're so divided as a world. We're all about ourselves, taking care of where we're at locally. 90% of the people don't know anything outside of where they're at, their local community. A lot of people don't know what's going on in Singapore, what's going on in India, and they might not care to know. And for us, when we set out to do Bottoms Up, it wasn't about the live show. It was pretty much reach out to Eldrick, Jeremy, and we were talking about how can we have where just everyday people come together and just share their perspectives. All cultures, it doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor, wherever you are, let's talk. Because when we have a broader perspective, we have a better understanding. A lot of discrimination, a lot of things happen is because we don't understand other people. And we're not open to listening. And I mean, look at this pandemic. Look at our politics. I mean, a lot of people are closed-minded. And that's why we have so much disagreement, hate. So that's what we're about, and we're doing a lot of things. We're working right now on some stuff that's going to roll out soon, and we're excited to let you guys know. So,
stay tuned.
Your perspective.
My perspective on what?
Okay,
Sorry,
wait, Jen.
I was really enjoying that and everything.
Before you say anything, I just want to touch on what Kevin said.
Sure, go ahead.
Kevin, you mentioned don't think too much about it. I actually didn't think too much about it. Some friends know I secretly just wanted my own talk show, and yay, I got one. That's one. The second thing I wanted to say was this. We know what happened, right, the past year or so. We didn't really start this show because of the pandemic. We started actually slightly before the lockdowns, and the purpose remains the same. We want to have different perspectives. With or without the pandemic, we were going to share perspectives, offer a platform for others all over the world to share their day-to-day perspectives, right? So that was what we set out to do. And it's funny you mentioned that the world is divided, because it is. It is very divided. I mean, just throughout this course of time when we do our live shows, how many issues that we come across as dividing the world, right? Politics, you have Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, over and on top of a pandemic.
Finance, you got stocks, and then crypto.
Yeah, all this crazy stuff.
Don't
Happening, right?
Started on that, please. Keep going. But my point is, at a time we should be united, we are more divided than ever. That's crazy, because the pandemic will need every single one in every single country as a global citizen to play their fair part and to be responsible. And that has to happen all at the same time for it to pass by, but it's not happening, right? We have crazy news over in US, don't wear masks. And over here in Singapore, the government just said that wear a mask and wear a good one that has at least 3-ply protection. A year into a pandemic with the new variant, they say, wear even better mask. But in the US, it's like, oh, you're vaccinated, no more masks. How divided can that be as a world? It's the same pandemic, right? Yeah, different variant, but it's still the same pandemic, right? So I don't know. It's just things just get a little bit more crazy than I think, and I hope that a live chat like ours offer more value than just speaking our mind, but more sharing perspectives, what different part of the world is happening, so that it can be more united rather than divided.
And also, you don't get the same perspective, from the news, right? all our local news is geared towards us locally. No matter if you're in Singapore or the U.S.
Or what they want you to believe.
Yeah, or what they want you to believe. So it's media, and it's nice to. We wanted to do something where hey, anyone can come on the show and share. Like I get firsthand from Eldrick and Jeremy what's going on out in Singapore because they're living there. It's not the news. And can you update like the people that are watching because some of them are in the U.S. so they might not understand like why is Singapore back in more it's called a circuit breaker, right? Kind of like
they don't call it a lockdown. It's called a circuit breaker. But right now we're not in a circuit breaker mode. But
we are
it's
in
quite
a
close to that.
tightening mode.
Yeah,
we're tightening, but we are
Yeah.
not tightening to a point where we are at circuit breaker. So
Correct.
the way you and Jennifer can think about it, in fact, even our audience outside Singapore, is that we are scaling down, or we have tighter measures, but we are not yet in a lockdown. Not yet, but we are getting close.
Which means to say, shops and stuff are still open. You just can't eat in. You have to take away all your food. Restaurants are not open. They are open, but you can't sit and eat. And shops are still open. You're advised to work from home as a default unless you really can't. So it isn't lockdown in the sense that everything is shut except for essential services like groceries and medical. Normal retail is still there, just that people can't dine in because this new strain is more, transmittable. And when you eat, your mask is down, so it makes you more vulnerable to it. So that's kind of the situation here.
So is the new variant already in Singapore?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is.
It is.
The way it has been addressed in the we call that the minister's task force or ministerial task force. I don't know what's that first word. The way they said it is, I think they are not denying it.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're not denying it. So read into the lines. I do think that the second round, I do think that this time, a lot more businesses are getting hit compared to the first one. The first one, it clipped our wings as part of hospitality and a tourism hub. This time, it's hitting internally even harder because not being able to dine in restaurants means the reason to get to the shopping malls have been discounted by 50% or more.
Or more, yeah.
And what that means is, from an ecosystem perspective, if you can't get people to go to the malls, to the restaurants to eat, then there is a lesser chance of people actually visiting the shops after their meals. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. And from the past week until today, I've gotten a lot busier because a lot more contacts has been contacting me on how we can move ahead. What is the quick punch to a digital pivot and things like that. So this one is going to be a very, very tough one. The second round, which is what we are experiencing today, is going to be a very, very tough one. And I usually give myself a lot to commercial related work, whether I make money or not. Recently, I do devote a bit more time to my friends because they are feeling the psychological squeeze. The first time wasn't that bad. When we have to come back again, it's very tough, especially for the gregarious ones and the socialites, social butterflies. It's very difficult. And to them, the experience on social media isn't the same as having human interaction. So I don't know how to accurately say this, but I think the impact this time runs deep down into our economic core and our social interactions. It's I don't know how to conclude this, but maybe Jeremy can say something.
Eldrick, Jeremy, how long was the circuit breaker the first time?
2 months.
It's a 4 weeks plus 4 weeks.
Yeah, 2 months.
Okay, 2 months.
4 weeks, and then after that they had a review and they said that nope, we need it longer, so they pushed it longer. And by the way, the first round, hospitality and aviation was a hard hit. Till today, it's the same. I think Singapore International Airlines reported yesterday that they had a record 4.3 or 5 billion loss. It's
in Singapore, the economy has a lot to do with also tourism, correct?
We are an international hub.
Yep.
Fair to say, I think last I read or I learned the economic engine for Singapore is I think 4 pillars: manufacturing, tourism, financial, and construction. Yeah, these are the 4. And if you look at these 4, right, manufacturing maybe affected because of all the supply of raw materials and all that. Financial, maybe not. Because financial is, it is what it is. It doesn't go away.
Yeah, Jeremy still gets to buy his crypto coins, so it's not affected. Don't worry.
So you have your construction.
Right? The doggy coin.
Dodgy coin. So construction is impacted because we depend a lot on foreign labor. So the last round, the dormitories where most of the foreign labor are at was badly hit, and a lot of constructions couldn't go on. And even right now, a lot of things are still before they caught on with the backlog of construction. We come to this state again. So a lot of things are going to be people are not going to get their new flats to move into, that kind of thing. Highways are not going to be built as fast. Your subways are not going to be built as fast. And we go to the last one, which is tourism. That one, well, it's obvious for everyone to see. And I'm not sure, Audrey, you really want my views about this time, because my views are quite skeptical in the sense that, borrowing from what Travis said, that's exactly my sentiments. The pilot is over. 2020 was the pilot episode. 2021 is the real deal. Going ahead, this is the real deal. This is real season 1. Next year could be season 2 and season 3. And I think they're
already saying there's more deaths in 2021 than 2022.
Yeah, so how can that be, right? Is it because of new variant, or we just let our guards down, or what? We have had the experience of an entire year last year, and why is this still happening? Why are more people dying? I just don't get it, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? Isn't that what the saying is? So why?
I think at first people I think the world didn't understand what to do or how it worked first. And then, as time went on, people got tired of being in their homes. And I think from an American perspective, I heard a lot of people say, oh, don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it. We don't want to just not live our lives, So I think a lot of people have mental health issues, at least from our side. And so it just gets really hard for them to be away from people or to not see their family. And then you just kind of start to give in. You're like, well, it's worth it. I'm sure I'll be fine. And I think, I don't know about India. India is kind of a whole different story. I mean, I've been there. It's crazy. I mean, there's no way that you can stop it once it starts there. There's just no way. There's too many people in a very small space. And I know that's probably more like Singapore. I know Hong Kong was that way in the past, where it's just so overly crowded. It's almost impossible there because it's already reached into the villages. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to deal with it. They have no health care. And then when they take the long trip to go to the city, then there's nothing available for them, and a lot of them die before they even get there. So it's a very hopeless situation there.
Well, I guess for US, maybe the mental health issue is more prevalent because liberty and freedom is a huge aspect of what US stands for. But I think in Singapore, at least for me, I'm quite used to being cooped up at home, so I'm okay. But my attitude this year versus last year is complete 180 degree, because last year, I was still going to work.
I in the back of my head, I just thought that it's just going to be like another SARS episode. 6 months, it's going to pass. My wife keeps telling me, wear your mask, wear your mask. Even before everyone did. And for once or twice, I put it on, and after that, I'm just gonna take it out as soon as I get out of the house because I look funny, right? Are you really sick as you're wearing a mask? So that was like my mindset back then. It's like, no, it's gonna pass. Yeah, no, don't worry. Let's just get on with normal lives. But this year, I've been cooping up at home for like the past 2 weeks. In fact, I was supposed to go. Oh, so here's the news. In fact, I was supposed to go to my military service next week, right? So I'm going to be on the episode next week because it has just been postponed. And I was kind of looking forward to it, but I have all these concerns. But it's a good news now because of how the situation is getting out of hand. And I'm just really scared for my life, my kids' life, my wife's and my family's lives, because this strain looks to be very, very scary, very, very viral. And to top it off, I watched a couple of news videos, I think it's by CNN, live coverage in India, how people are fighting for breath. And in one of the videos, I think they even caught one of the old lady passed away with all her sons next to her. It was just heartbreaking, and it just hit me, after I see it, how scary it can be, because we saw them struggling to breathe even, and how this guy's body was just like, in spasm because he was fighting for breath. So it just freaked the hell out of me. So this time around, it's more scary for me than last year.
So how is that, if you don't mind me asking, how is the vaccine situation there in Singapore? How readily available is that for you guys at this point?
I think they are speeding it up in terms of the rollout. It's been going on fairly well. But here's the irony. I have not registered myself to do the jab despite being so fearful. Only because I have I know that's the usual spiel, right? It's not going to affect you if you have allergies, blah, blah, blah. But I do have an autoimmunity skin situation. So I'm a bit cautious about that. So, of course, I've asked the dermatologist if taking the vaccine is going to be okay. And of course, the answer is going to be yes. But I'm just going to be waiting and see. And the way I look at it, I don't know, with the new variants, I don't know, we might have to go for more jabs. So I'm still waiting. My wife as well, because I think we were just a bit worried about how vaccines are. But my wife's her mind is changing. She did tell me yesterday that she might want to sign up and get the jab first. I said, okay, why don't you go ahead first? And after you, then I go, because we can't both do it at the same time, right? Somebody has to look after the kids. So it's a wait and see on there, on the rollout. But one thing's for sure, having the vaccine doesn't mean that you won't get affected by the virus. It just makes your symptoms less detectable. And that's where it makes things complicated, because you could be vaccinated. And we have cases here, right? Vaccinated people having the virus, catching the virus anyway. So it complicates the thing, because you're vaccinated, your symptoms are not so discernible. You might still go on and work and spread to other people. You become asymptomatic. And it just throws a different spanner into the entire confusion right now. It gets messy that way. That's how I see it.
I think for us, we're getting a little bit different news on this side. Maybe they're lying to us. I don't know. But they're making everybody feel very comfortable that, the CDC says this, it's okay, thing's okay now. That's
where it's scary, right? When you have the authority, the number one authority in country, the CDC, saying that you don't have to wear your mask. And I think
as long as you have the vaccine. Now, if you have the vaccine, then you still should wear it.
Because
if you don't,
in the U.S., right, the advocacy rate so what they're telling us, right, is that, hey, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, or Pfizer, if you get any of those, one of those three, right, you are guaranteed no hospitalization and death. Now, can you still get? Can you get COVID?
Hold on. They're selling it. They're selling it like an insurance plan now.
Well, so they're telling you can still get COVID, but it's gonna be a 0.0001 chance you'll get hospitalization or or die from it. So they're saying that that's why they're pushing Americans to get their vaccine, because at least it'll keep you from the hospital. And from data, right, in the hospital, according to CDC and, the different universities in the U.S., it is declining in the number of deaths and hospitalization. But I think we're only at like a 53%. It could have changed by now.
Rate?
Yeah,
right.
Regards to how many people have been vaccinated. So, yep.
Interesting.
But it's very interesting because now that we're talking about this, we have to have a global perspective. We have to understand there's more than just living in our own world, because the world does come back and impact us. Mm-hmm. So I used to be in global logistics. So people forget a lot of our goods in the U.S. come from Asia. A lot of the software you have right now, there's whole hell. So I was a software engineer. There's been whole ups. Even J29, we took on some web projects for other agencies because they're relying on their offshore team in India. And now India, they can't reach them. They don't know what happened. They can't contact them. So, so we're helping assist, But this is a global economy, people. It does impact you. Don't think it doesn't impact you. Because a lot of times, in first world countries, we're so comfortable. We live in our own little world. There's a reason why in the U.S. your wood prices are going up. Okay?
Oh, I had a good time trading lumber.
Yep, lumber is going up like crazy, And people don't understand, it's a global economy. Everything affects you and I sitting at home. Your electronics, the TV, the movies you watch, the world goes around, man. So it's not like, oh, we're safe right now. It feels really good to be an American. But everyone else, who cares? No, you need to care. Because eventually, what's going on in the opposite side of the world is going to come back and kick you in the butt. Even the stock market, it's all connected, So you need to care,
And sometimes there's, I've been learning a lot about this, but there's countries that if they're affected, it affects your defense of protecting your country. So, I mean, there's so much involved in all of that. But the number one thing that I've found, or that I personally believe helps to change people's perspective, is, which we can't do much right now, but is to go out from your home and go travel and see. And when you make connections with people in that place, or you've seen how they live or the way things are, that it's different from what as life, you'll never be the same. I lived in India for 3 years and have traveled around Asia for different reasons. And I know what they're going through. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like, because I've seen it and I can imagine, I know how bad their healthcare system is. That's why I definitely have to say publicly, I did not agree with the CNN lady who got on there and pressured the person that was over the hospital, or the local guy that was in politics there.
You saw the same video as me then. I know which one you're talking.
Yes, because she was pressuring him and making him look bad publicly when he really only gets the supplies that he gets. And he has to pay people and try to get whatever he can, but he is very limited on what he can get. So I thought that was very unfair. He is not the top.
Correct. We have to assume that everyone's doing their best, because it's lives at stake. Unless you're really evil and you want to see people dying, which I don't think that's the case. Yeah,
I their resources are limited. It's very limited, and so he was in the middle of that situation trying to run a hospital. He's not the government, or even if he's over that town, he's still not the top people, and so he can only get what he can get.
He's trying to do the best he can, given what the circumstances are.
Yeah, so you can't, if you blame the Indian government for that situation, you can blame the Indian government if you want to, but don't blame the little people that are over cities or over areas, because their resources are limited. So, yeah,
No, and
absolutely.
it's so important. Like, it's hard. Life's hard. It's been a tough 2020, 2021, and we see on social media, a lot of times everyone's has their smiles on. Even for Jen and I, it's been a tough year. Just being stuck home, and even financially, it hasn't been easy. Because when your clients are impacted too, eventually it flows up. You get impacted. We had clients that ended up, either dropping their contracts with us, but we understand they're struggling, and then we have even lower our rates so that we can help people survive as well, and just meet people where they're at. I think one of the biggest thing right now during this time is, have more grace. Try to understand people. I think sometimes we're stuck on our opinions,
Opinionated.
and we're not very sensitive to what other people are going through. But right now, I think you need to be considerate of other people, what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. Even like Jeremy said, even coming out of it, right? If someone wants to wear a mask, respect people for their opinion, why they're doing it. Don't judge them. If someone feels safer with a mask, so be it. If someone feels like, hey, they want to still social distance, it's okay. I think we live life so we're so judgmental, and sometimes we don't take the time to think about, like, if you go out to a restaurant, there might be a reason why they might not have a certain dish, or but you got to remember, they've been locked down for 5-6 months. They might not have the finances to maybe fix a lock on a bathroom or do things. You don't know their story.
Thanks a lot for that one, Kevin. Thank you.
This is a reference to some.
Yes, it was a reference. So I'll tell the story. So just the other day, we went to a
Jen
restaurant.
made me laugh.
So just the other day, we went to a restaurant, and the bathroom had a really big sign that said, "Please knock." And I'm like, what's the point of knocking? Like, if someone locks the door, then there's no need to knock, right? Unless they're not coming out and you really need to go. And so I decided, well, maybe I didn't twist the door right. So instead of knocking, I didn't follow the rules. I twisted it and it opened, and it had a chain holding it, but you could see straight inside. I could see the lady.
Right.
And she's like, oh. And I'm like, oh, sorry about that. I'm so sorry. And I stood back and I was like, that's why they said to knock. And then when I went in, I'm like, it's just a simple doorknob with like, you could run to the store down the street and grab a new one for maybe $10, $15, $20. Not that big of a deal. And the place was packed out, and they overcharged for food like crazy. It's like, you guys you're hip hopping, man. Why can't you just change a lock on the woman's door? It just seemed really cheap to me. But now Kevin's like, hey, you don't know their circumstance or how much it costs for them to stay open, or has their business fluctuated throughout the year.
A lot of people aren't putting into consideration, there's a reason why prices are inflated, is a little higher. You know why? We just got our butts kicked for 7-8 months as a business. How are we going to recover that? Raising prices.
No,
so
money.
Expect that when you go out and eat. Things aren't going to be the same. Those restaurants, they were struggling. Okay? And for them to even survive, I used to own a restaurant. Okay? Your hamburger that used to be $5 is probably going to be $7. Okay? Because that $2 has to go back to recovery costs. Okay, money doesn't just appear. Aldrich understands that. So this is huge. Like, expect things to be a little higher, especially from local mom and pop places, because like I can understand that. So
now you're, but the other day wasn't as understanding when we got the bill.
You can understand the economics.
We were like, we're never
it.
going back there. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
you can understand the economics behind it, but that doesn't mean that you choose to be understanding when you see the bill.
Exactly. Kevin's like, I ate this kind of fish. It's like the cheapest fish available, and they put 2 eggs on it that just ran all over the plate, and I paid $15 for that. So, and that was the cheapest dish on the menu.
Yeah.
So and it was not a fine dining restaurant either. So that kind of changes. But anyway, it is what it is, and we help those people out. And it was local, so we appreciate helping local when we can. And we've seen a lot of what you guys are talking about in Singapore. We know what that feels like to see businesses struggle. And there was a ton of businesses closed down at the first of when this first started. Like within a few months, they were gone. So there's been some that's incredible that they have sustained, and we've been able to go back and help them out. So with our $5 cup of coffee or whatever, $15 meal.
Every little bit helps.
Every little does help, though. But,
yeah.
But I think, just reflecting on the year, it's been a tough year, and I like what Kenneth said. You got to be empathetic and care, and we got to look beyond our borders. It's more than just us. And at the end of the day, that's what we're doing here, Bottoms Up. We want to share perspectives. Yeah. And right now we're working on, hey, how can we create a ecosystem where it's not just about first world country, but what about third world country? How can people actually take, what we can provide if a creator or ourselves have a value to bring that can teach a skill set and make someone better and equip them. There's a saying, right? You don't just give fish to someone, but you teach them to fish. If you teach them to fish, you're really actually helping them out. So, and that's what we're set out to do. And I think we can all agree. We're trying to create a platform where we can truly bring people together. And if you have a value where you can be a blessing to someone else, and teach them a skill set where, hey, to someone in America, it might be such a simple skill set, right? But if someone is in another country, maybe a third world country somewhere, in a village, you might be able to transform their lives, So there's a lot of that in the world. And I think we overlook it. And that's what Bottoms Up's all about, is everyday people, because everyday people are practitioners. We didn't set out to do a show where we're just inviting a bunch of influencers. We don't care if you have 100K followers or you have 200 followers, because the numbers don't matter, because everyone has value. A person with 200 followers might have more value than someone with 100K, because they're sincere, they're authentic, and they're living it, and that's what Bottoms Up is all about, is from the bottom instead of top down, and I think the influencers out there, they get enough, airtime on shows and podcasts and everything, but we want someone who's really good at what they do, be able to share their perspective and help people out. Not everyone that's good at something is active on social media or have huge followers,
Correct.
So
and I just want to also add on to that, in the sense that especially in Asia, right, a lot of us discount the kind of value or the kind of skill we have. We always think we are not good enough. despite the fact that we have been doing this thing over and over in day out, right? So what we're trying to do, going ahead, our phase 2, chapter 2 of Bottoms Up, really is to offer a platform for you to find out, at the very least, if your skill set is of value or not to the rest of the world, right? You never know until you put yourself out there and let the real market decide if what you have to offer has value or not. So I think we are trying to provide that platform as well. So if you're not sure if you're really good or not, but you think you're good at something, just put it out there, let the world decide. Don't discount yourself.
Or you can try out. We'll form a panel, or you can meet with Kevin privately and go ahead and put yourself out there in front of Kevin, and he'll tell you the truth if you're good or not.
Why Kevin? We have the consultant here. Come on, man.
or four of us, we can form a little panel.
Not to judge.
Kenny can bring his awesomeness, and whoever else wants to join us, and you can share with us, and we'll encourage you or discourage you, but a lot of encouragement probably.
So it's BUP American Idol.
Go to press the buzzer. Is the buzzer there? Golden buzzer somewhere.
And by the way, we can call Kenneth Kenny nowadays. So
yeah, we're in the club.
We're in the club. So no. Hey, thank you so much, Kenny, for just being on our show, and your support. It's awesome. You're always genuine. You always tell it like it is. So we hope we need to get Kenny as a guest on our show. So tonight we're going to just put it out there. So Kenny, if you want to be on our show, just message Eldrick, Jeremy,
give us
or
a date.
I. Yep, and give us a date. So it's always on Wednesday nights or your Thursday morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. So hope you can accept this invitation, and we love to have you on our show, Kenny. So,
and Chris, thanks so much for always showing up. Really appreciate that for sure. Anyone that shows up, you're not overlooked. We just really appreciate it. And Travis, I wonder what happened to Ice Baby, Mr. Ashish. I haven't seen him for a while. So if anybody talks to him, tell him I said hi.
Yep.
We miss him at Bottoms Up.
So we got some awesome stuff that we're planning and working on. So be sure to follow we're now on Bottoms Up. We have a Facebook page. We also have a Bottoms Up Perspective LinkedIn page. We haven't talked much about it. We even have a website, right? bottomsupperspective.com. We'll be rolling everything out soon. You'll hear more about it coming from all four of us. Some of you who are on our show will be reaching out to you. So it's going to be awesome. So we look forward to June. It's going to be our full rollout. And we hope you guys can come along and join us. So, well, that's it for tonight. Next week, it's going to be exciting. We will have episode 60. And we have Joo-Hee Kim. She's the managing director of VaynerMedia in Los Angeles. She'll be our guest. So for those of you who don't know VaynerMedia, it is the famous Gary. Gary
Vaynerchuk
is his baby, right? That's his company. And Joo-Hee Kim, she is the managing director for the Los Angeles division. She'll be joining us, and we go talk a little about finding your voice, right? Finding your voice as an Asian, as a female executive. And what
in a tech company
looks like. Yep.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. And we'll see you next week. Hope you can join us later.
Stay safe, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.